Have you ever noticed that your symptoms get worse in December, especially around the time of the holidays? Well, there's a reason for that. It's not because it's winter, it's not because your immune system is attacking itself for no reason. It is because multiple sclerosis is an infectious disease caused by parasites. And when we are around the holiday season, there are specific things that cause these parasites to be more active, produce more poisons, increase inflammation in our body, and increase our symptoms. And we then have a greater risk of an MS flare. If we haven't met, my name is Pam Bartha. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis over 35 years ago. It's going on to 36 pretty soon within the next little while here. And I have been able to live MS free because early on I learned that what I was dealing with was caused by infections. So my nerves were not attacking my immune system was not attacking my nerves for no reason. It is chronic infections in the body. Since that time, back in 1988, I've tried a lot of different things that were safe. And we've also been coaching many students, like thousands of students all over the world, really gaining huge insights into the types of parasites that are causing MS and other chronic diseases, and how to treat them, how to recover from them. I'm sharing this topic with you because I want you to go through the holidays and I want you to enjoy yourself, enjoy your special time with your loved ones, but not suffer the consequences of having an MS flare. You can avoid it. You can enjoy your food. You can enjoy the holidays, and you can actually end the holidays feeling better. So you won't be starting January like overweight and feeling terrible, exhausted. You can actually sail through the holidays and feel amazing for the start of the year. Start the new year running, not suffering. So there really is a reason why the symptoms get worse. They don't tell us this. Our standard of care, they don't know, because they don't know that we're dealing with infections. They don't know that we're dealing with parasites. And if you're new to all of this, you might be a little skeptical. I have so much evidence on our website, livediseasefree.com. You can go there after, go to the blog. Also, you can, if you want to get a concise overview of some of the main infections that are causing MS, you can watch my masterclass training, and I'll share that with you after. It's free. I highlight a lot of the science behind specific parasites that are really common in multiple sclerosis. I also share with you many case studies of people that have recovered, and I share the steps we take to recover. So while you're going into the holidays, you are going to learn what was making you sick or feel worse in the years past and how to avoid that. So this is something that we can prevent. We have control. It is not a mystery. Let's give you some clarity as to why we're dealing with symptoms that are worse. And then I'm going to give you a simple plan so that you can implement that and enjoy your holidays and not suffer at the end of it. So the main reasons why the MS symptoms, it's not just MS, but other chronic diseases too, why we see an increase in various types of symptoms. It can be anything from fatigue to foggy head to poor memory to pain increased. It could be bladder or bowel issues. It could be bloating. That's a big one, right? Stomach aches and bloating and constipation. But it can also be things like spasticity, and drop foot can be worse, and weakness in our legs, and tingling and numbness, and the list goes on, migraine, headache. So there are so many symptoms that can get worse because they're all caused by the infections and the toxins they produce. Number one, over the holidays, what do we get a lot out of? We get a lot of sugar. We get a lot of processed carbohydrates. So not just sugar, but the white flour, right? The baking, the pastries. And so the favorite source of energy for parasites is sugar and simple carbohydrates. So when we increase their favorite food, they are going to be more active. They are going to reproduce more quickly. They are going to produce more toxins. And all of that is going to make us feel absolutely horrible. And I should also add in, it's not just the sugar, it's not just the high carbs that we're eating, but also the caffeine. So when we're having caffeine, it stimulates us, and you have to know that it is stimulating the parasites also. So if you're tempted over the holidays, it's like, oh, I just love shortbread. I've always had shortbread, like for years, it's like part of our tradition. Just think for one moment, when I eat that shortbread, it'll taste good on my tongue for a few seconds, and then the parasites are going to binge. They are going to have a party. They don't need a lot of sugar. They don't need a lot of carbs. They are microscopic. You can't see them with the naked eye. And then when you're having all your specialty coffees and you're having your chocolate that has a lot of caffeine, just know that that is making them hyperactive, and it's going to make you feel like you're dying. It's that simple. So when you have that visual, and actually one visual that one of my graduates sent me on, I think it's on Instagram. She sent it on Instagram. I don't know if it's a TikTok video, but it's an actual real fluke that is burrowing through, I don't know, you can see the liver in the background. So it's like a liver fluke. And they are so nasty looking. I shared that with my husband before bed, and he was just like grossed right out. And a lot of us have flukes. And when you can actually visualize what they're looking like and how they're digging around in your liver and in your blood vessels and in your organs and in your central nervous system, do you want to give them extra energy? No, you want to make them quiet. And I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. So all the chocolate, it's not just the sugar, but it's also the caffeine. It's like a double whammy. And the desserts, all the festive drinks, like a lot of the drinks have a lot of sugar in it. The alcohol is definitely hard on your body. Your liver has to detoxify the alcohol. So remember that sugar and simple carbohydrates are the favorite food of parasites. So you want to eat as little of that as possible. More toxins, more parasite activity, they reproduce faster. They can produce, some of the worms can produce 200,000 eggs in one day. 200,000 eggs in one day, right? And then they're hatching. And so that's why we end up with more inflammation. We end up with more symptoms. We end up with more flares and disability over the holidays. That's one reason. And this all really impacts our immune system. Like, when we're dealing with MS or other chronic diseases, our immune system is overwhelmed. It's not able to deal. It's like a war that has gone bad. The soldiers are not able to defend the good guys anymore. So we have to really support our immune system. Even if you have like 2 days where you're eating a lot of carbohydrates and having caffeine and having some alcohol, you will pay the price for weeks. So it's not worth it. I don't do that. I gave that up a long time ago. I don't have the cravings anymore. I don't miss anything. It's not worth it. Number 2 is that stress is much higher during the holidays. So we are, number 1, we're visiting with family, we're staying up late. It's so nice to catch up with people, right? And so we stay up late, we go, oh, I'll just, I'll make up for it later. While when you're dealing with a parasitic infestation, that really weakens your immune system when you are sleep deprived, and the parasites are going to benefit from that. There are many other stressors in the holidays. Financial now, like with all of the cost of living is so much higher. There's family dynamics, trying to keep everybody happy, trying to get gifts for everybody, busy schedules, trying to catch up with a lot of people. Maybe we're working a lot, or we're just trying to catch up with people that we haven't seen all year. So there's a lot of extra responsibilities, but also less sleep, just busier. And when we have higher cortisol levels, the stress hormone, I did a talk on this before, and you can find that on our blog on livediseasefree.com. Parasites respond to our hormones, to our stress hormones, the cortisol, but they also respond to our sex hormones. So the more we can keep our stress hormones balanced, the less benefit they will have. So you can see like this is all creating a perfect storm where we add, sleep deprivation and high stress, high cortisol, lots of food for the parasites, stimulating them with caffeine, late nights, not getting enough sleep. All of these things are like creating a perfect storm where we can have a flare. And it's been known that during the holidays that people do have a higher risk of having flares. It's very simple. It's not rocket science, and you don't need a degree. It's just, there's just certain principles that we need to follow. So these stress hormones, I've even shared with how the parasites can actually use some of the hormones. They can make their own hormones. They react to the hormones that we produce. So it's a really big deal. A lot of women, they think that they have hormonal symptoms, and I've done a talk about that too. It's on that same blog post. Because it fluctuates from, certain times of the month it's worse and other times it's not as bad. When really it's the fluctuations of the activities of the parasites, depending on which hormones are higher or lower. It's some parts of the month the parasites will be less active, and then other times of the month they will be higher depending on what hormone is higher or lower. I talk all about that on that blog post. Make sure to go and check it out because it's not the last one I did last week, but it's the one before that. Last week I shared amazing successes, which will blow you away. Like I cannot believe that. I still can't. I've been doing this for years, and every Tuesday when we have our live Q&A call, it is absolutely shocking. The symptom improvements that people have, it's just miraculous. Shows how amazing the body is. The next one, again, is sleep. I talked a little bit about it, but when we are sleep deprived, our immune system is weaker. So if you want to strengthen your immune system, make sure you're getting enough sleep. And yes, it takes a little bit of discipline. You want to stay up, but it just isn't worth it. Like you will feel like when you're not dealing with parasites and you're tired, that's one thing. But when you're dealing with a parasitic infestation and you're tired, it's like debilitating fatigue. So it's not worth it. It's not worth the increased risk of a flare or worse symptoms. So it's really important to just enjoy the day. And then in late night, 9, 10 o'clock would be late. Then just excuse yourself and just go to bed, or just make sure that you leave the parties on time. That way you are still going to have wonderful memories and you are not going to pay the price of suffering. Suffering, you have suffered enough, I'm sure. So your body needs that sleep time for really repairing and healing and detoxing. Your body is trying to do that all the time. And when you're really deprived of sleep, it's just not going to work very well. So when we're sleep deprived, the parasites will be more active. Toxins are not going to clear. The body can't clear them as well. Inflammation increases. Inflammation is the war. That's where your immune system is fighting these infections. So that increases with all of these different stresses. And then we have worse symptoms, especially neurological symptoms. Even 1 to 2 nights of being sleep deprived can really set us back. So, and that's because we're kind of like the camel with the overloaded back. Like one more straw and the camel's back is broken. Think of yourself like that. You're dealing with, a lot of my students, it's like hundreds of worms, not just like 5 or 10, but hundreds. And they are treating for a year to a year and a half. They're almost symptom-free by that time and they're doing amazingly, but they're still passing worms. So we're dealing with, again, parasites that can lay 200,000 eggs in a day. Bacteria can reproduce very, very quickly. We're dealing with the surface area of the digestive tract, even a double tennis court. You can fit a lot of parasites in there. So really important that we just, if you have a bad night, think of it like a bank account. It's like, okay, I'm sleep deprived. I didn't have a good night last night, so I'm going to make up for it tonight. And you don't have to go to bed at 6 o'clock at night, but just make sure that you are getting to bed by, if you had a rough night, go to bed by 9 o'clock so that you can get extra sleep. And you might need to use a sleep aid. And I can't give advice here, but we do support our students to make sure that they are sleeping. The parasites really do cause a lot of insomnia. Traveling and eating out. Like when you eat in restaurants, it is somewhat challenging. You have to know how to ask. So there are a lot of places where you can get grilled meat, and you can just ask for some butter on the side and just say, I'm very sensitive to sugar. It'll make me very, very sick, so that they really hold back on that. And give them a little bit of an extra tip, right? For being so helpful for you. Make sure to tip them well. So number one, just a lot of places they'll have like a salad. You can get a side salad with your grilled meat. Just say no, like nuts and seeds that have sugar on them. Just the vegetables, no cheese, and just all the vegetables. Can I have a piece of lemon or lime on the side? And if you want to be really healthy, you can just bring your own little container with you when you're traveling of extra virgin olive oil. Otherwise, they're going to give you these really cheap trans fat oils that are not good for you at all. So you can just carry, but make sure that it's an airtight little container that you can carry in your purse. That way you can pour a really great, good quality extra virgin olive oil on, squeeze a piece of lemon or lime. It's delicious. And very often they will have a side of vegetables. They might have asparagus, they might have broccoli, they could have green beans, it could be zucchini. Just get the side vegetables. Just make sure there's no sugar or cheese in it. And then the salad and the grilled meat. Add lots of fat to your meal and you'll feel really satisfied for hours. But be very careful. Like, you can tell them you're sensitive to MSG and other chemicals. So salt and pepper is fine, but just say don't season it with anything else, because a lot of times they'll use seasoning salts that contain maltodextrin and MSG and all kinds of other things that we should avoid. Really avoid the gluten grains. So especially like we avoid them when we are getting ready to treat and while we're treating. But know that even though things like wheat are not genetically modified, to my knowledge, at this time, but the crops are often sprayed with glyphosate, with that pesticide, or that herbicide, I should say, and that's to ripen the crop. So wheat can have residual glyphosate on it, and glyphosate just destroys our gut. It's been really linked with cancer and all kinds of other problems. It's a really nasty, nasty chemical. So we want to avoid the gluten because we're not digesting the grains well when we have parasites, but also we want to avoid the genetically modified organisms. And so like even potatoes, peas, corn, anything that kind of sticks to your ribs, like a starchy vegetable, the parasites will thrive on it. So skip that. Just stick with low carbs. You can find the Live Disease-Free diet on our website, livediseasefree.com. Under research, there's a little cheat sheet. Thousands of people have that. Even practitioners are handing it out. Really, really helpful. This diet is so helpful, so important. I want to just share one thing. I've done this in other talks, but they know that doctors or practitioners know that when they're treating significant cases of parasites where, let's say, the tapeworms larvae get into the brain, so that's neurocysticercosis, what they'll do is they will pair up metformin, which is a diabetes medication, with a parasite drug. And the metformin, what it does is it decreases the blood sugar level, and that really helps the drug to work better. So what we do is like, well, let's not take a drug that can affect our kidneys and other things in the body. It has adverse effects, but let's just change our diet and let's just decrease the glucose, the carbohydrates. But it shows you that how important this is, how well known this is in the medical community. It's really profound. So it's like validation for the Live Disease-Free diet, how important it is and why it's important. So eating low carb is going to really help you to feel so much better. And when I say low carb, it's like not quite at the keto, but I would go down to, especially if you have chronic disease, go down to 30 to 40 total grams of carbs per day. So 30 to 40 total grams of carbs per day. And yes, somebody's asking about Lyme. Yes, the Borrelia loves glucose, which is sugar in the blood. So decreasing the carbs. They don't really like fat. And please be aware that if you eat a lot of meat, that will be converted. Excess protein will be converted to glucose, which will make your blood sugar go up, and that will feed the parasites also. A lot of people don't know that, and they think, well, I can just eat more meat because I'm not eating carbs. No, you'll feel terrible if you eat too many. So for women, we usually see around 3 to 4 ounces of animal protein with a meal is fine. But if you eat it like a 10-ounce steak, you could feel really awful because your body will convert protein to sugar, which will feed the parasites, and that'll make you feel way worse. So diet is really important, and I'll go over a few different holiday ideas in a minute when we go over the solution, the plan. But traveling can definitely, especially if you're getting even like hidden glucose or hidden gluten, just small amounts of grains, it definitely will add up very quickly because when we have MS or other chronic diseases, we're heavily infested, and very small changes make all the difference. Poor quality oils, we know that a lot of seed oils are inflammatory. We know that if it's not a good quality, let's say even olive oil, that it can have a lot of trans fats. So we want to avoid those. Less movement equals more inflammation. It's really important to be active. If we're disabled, what can you do to get some circulation going? Maybe it's doing some stretches. Maybe you can jump on a stationary bike. Maybe you can walk around the kitchen table once today, twice tomorrow, 3 times the next day. Take back your mobility slowly as you can. Really, really important, because that in time, you're going to have more strength. You are increasing circulation. You're helping your body to get rid of toxins. And even as you can increase your ability to work out and to be active, heating the body, like, definitely is antimicrobial also. So with the busy schedules, with cold, like for me where I live, we've got snow and then it started to melt. And so it's icy everywhere. And I would literally break my neck outside. So I have my work boots and I put these grippers on the bottom. They have like little metal spikes. And then I can still go outside and I'm not at risk of falling or slipping. So it's really important to just, if it's not too cold, of course, if it's really, really cold outside, then no, don't go out. But if it's not that cold, even the fresh air is so good for you. Just get whatever mobility you can. And sometimes we can't do a lot of mobility if we're moving, walking, if we're quite disabled. Do what you can. It's really important. That helps also to just move our lymphatic system, and that's with our immune system, is trying to clear toxins and dead microbes. Really important. And then a big trigger is eating a lot of processed carbs, not eating regularly, eating a lot of concentrated foods can cause us to have more constipation or more diarrhea or more incontinence. This always comes with chronic disease. It's one or the other. It's either diarrhea or else constipation. And in worst case scenarios, it alternates between diarrhea and constipation. So really important that we understand that this change in schedule, the change in our food, all of these things will contribute, and we really need to address constipation, because if we don't, then the stool stays inside of us, the waste material, the fecal material stays inside of us too long. The toxins are reabsorbed into our blood. The liver is trying to get rid of it, but it can't get rid of it all. It's passing by the liver. It is going into our brain, and we're having foggy head. We're having mood issues. We're having poor memory, waking up at night. Like, there's so many symptoms we can have when we are having this high level of toxicity from the toxins being reabsorbed by the parasites. Of course, that's going to cause more of the immune system to react, so we can have higher cytokines, and then it goes on. And then our symptoms are going to flare, and this really impacts our brain and the rest of our nervous system. So daily bowel movements are a really important part of making sure we do not get a relapse or a stronger amount of symptoms. So now let's switch over to the plan, because that is what we want to do. We want to enjoy the holidays, and this is kind of like you have to, and I know we're really close to the holidays here, so you have to work on your mindset a little bit. You have to build a very strong intention and a why. Why do you have to succeed? Why do you have to succeed? What will your life look like next year when you are starting to do the things that you love to do? So when you start to give yourself permission to dream again, and you are starting to think about like, oh my gosh, I used to just love going for walks. I used to love buying groceries. I used to love cooking for my family. I used to love traveling. I used to love playing with the kids, with the grandkids, like all of these things and more. Maybe it's I want to go back to work, or I have this dream, this mission. I want to do something voluntarily, or maybe you want to do some work. Whatever it is, give yourself permission to dream, and really dream a lot, like not just for a few seconds, but think about it daily. Every day, put pictures of yourself, your old pictures of when you used to feel good, the things you used to do, all the memories that you have. And all of that is going to work on your subconscious, especially at night when you're sleeping. And then you're going to have this inner bubbling of motivation and inspiration. And you are going to be like, I'm going to do this. I am going to do this. This is so worth it. And I never thought I could, but Pam is giving me hope. Not just her hope, but all of the wellness champions that I've been looking at, all the successes, the testimonies, it makes perfect sense. I'm going for it. And then when you have a very strong intention of what you're going to accomplish and a very strong why, nothing's going to get in your way. Somebody will offer you some wonderful dessert that looks kind of good, but you'll say, nope, I don't want that because that equals wheelchair. And I can just imagine those parasites just having a heyday in me. No, I'm not doing that. And you will have, if you plan, you'll have other things. We'll talk a little bit about other things you can have so that you can actually enjoy the holidays. And so this will be the toughest year because this is where you're breaking old traditions. And maybe some of those traditions need to be broken, right? But you're taking on a whole new life. So for me, I don't eat the Christmas desserts. I don't drink caffeine. I don't have alcohol, but I'm so passionate about, we're going to have our whole family at our house, like all my brothers and sisters and nieces and my great-grandchildren. Not great. My grandchildren, I'm not that old. My grandchildren. So it's like I get to do really fun things. And to be outside, last weekend, I was tobogganing with my grandkids, going down a very steep hill with them, and they're all having a heyday. So and then we babysat, and we just have so much fun with grandkids. We've got animals here. I got back into horses. So this can happen for you. This happens for students all the time, but you're the only one who can change it. You're the only one who can make a different choice, choosing a different path. So there's all the science behind this. There are all the success stories. There's a step-by-step proven plan. There's a lot of support in recovery. You just have to make the choice. I've had enough of this. I'm not doing this anymore. So let's talk about the plan, because this is where the exciting part is. You don't need to suffer. You do not need to feel deprived that you're not having anything tasty or good, not feeling satisfied. And you do not have to fear having a flare of symptoms or even an MS attack. So number one, eating in a way that makes the parasites less active over the holidays. So it's not even that you're going to maintain the suffering. You can actually feel a lot better if you implement every step that I share with you. Every step will cause you to have more improvements than you ever thought possible. You still should treat the parasites in time, but this will get you started so that you have more belief that this is possible for you. Following a live disease-free diet over the holidays is really simple. So we cook a big meal. We will cook the meat, the turkey. I will make stuffing for some of my family members and cranberries and cheese sauce. And I look at the cheese sauce, it's like glue. They love it. But I'm like, I clean the dishes after and I can see what it does to the pans. I'm like, it's really sticky inside of us too. So what I do is I'll have the turkey or whatever meat it is, and we will make our gravy, we will thicken some of it, and then we will keep some of it not thickened. So we have quite a few people in our family that I can't have this and I can't have that. So it's not a big deal. We just make some adaptations for the family members that can't eat everything. So number one is to just make sure that having the meat is fine, having the gravy on top at au jus with no thickener. And then we love roasting vegetables. So it can be broccoli, it can be cauliflower. And if you do roast carrots, don't eat a lot of them because they're high glycemic. They will make your blood sugar shoot up, especially when they're cooked. Have like one piece of carrot, right? That should be fine. And so when you oven roast the vegetables, we do have a holiday meal idea, a whole bunch like blog posts and things like that. You can just look up Live Disease Free on Google and holiday meal ideas, and you'll find the blog posts, and there's lots of recipes and ideas there. So that's the meat and the vegetables. So I'll have 2 or 3 different vegetables and the animal protein, the turkey, or sometimes we'll do a brisket on the Traeger for like 12 hours. And so that is delicious. And then a big salad. And you can make the salads really fancy for Christmas. You can cut the vegetables a little different. And then I just like fresh lemon juice or lime and olive oil. That's my favorite. And so I will eat that, and it still tastes delicious. I love turkey. I love the meat. And we've got many different vegetables. Add lots of healthy fat. The fat is what will make you feel really satisfied. So when you're done that, you can have different salads, you can have different warm vegetables. And you can use the herbs to bring special flavor. So when you have herbs and fat, it really makes things taste good. Like you feel very satisfied. So then after the meal, when they're having a dessert, I remember the days when I used to do that, and I would feel sick for hours. You just stuff yourself with 2 or 3 platefuls of food, then you have the dessert on top, and then you feel like awful for hours and hours, right? You just lay there comatose. When you eat this way, you don't ever have that anymore. You actually feel really good. You feel satisfied, but you don't get stomach pain. You don't feel overfull. And what I like to do is like for my dessert is there's beautiful teas. I just went a couple of days ago and I picked up a few new teas. Just make sure they don't taste sweet. So there are many naturally caffeine-free teas that are delicious and they are very satisfying, but they don't taste sweet. So I can't remember what one of them was. It was, I can't remember, but it was like a reddish tea and it sounded like it could be sweet. It was cranberry and pomegranate or something like that. But my husband tried it and I tasted it and it was not sweet. So don't do like a plum tea. Don't do an apple cinnamon tea. Anything that tastes sweet on your tongue is not going to be good for you right now. The parasites love sugar, whether it comes from fruit or from candies and cake, etc. So you can have the tea. Before you eat, you can have sparkling water. It is so lovely. So we don't even buy LaCroix or bubbly or any of those waters anymore. We just have like that, I don't know what it's called. It's like I can't remember what the name of it, but you just can carbonate your own water. And that is really nice because when you carbonate your own water, it's pure. And it's cheaper and you don't collect all the tin cans. And then you can add lemon or lime, or you can, for the other guests, they might put a splash of some kind of juice. I did buy like an apple juice and I think there's a raspberry something, cranberry juice. So they might put a splash of that in their juice where I would just have fresh lemon and lime. I really like that a lot. It's super fresh. It's refreshing. And then for appies, just make sure that if you have, you can use mayonnaise as a really awesome option to have. So I have a recipe that I just take avocado mayonnaise like that we can make on our own, like a recipe, or you can even find it at Costco. Ideally, your own homemade is the best. But taking mayonnaise, and there is this no salt organic seasoning at Costco. I don't know if it's still there. But when I add garlic and herbamare, and that no salt seasoning in, and it's just a bunch of dried herbs, people just think it's the best thing in the world. They just love it and they just eat piles of it. So that is a way. And actually last weekend when my grandkids were here, I got smart and I didn't give them any junk food before supper. I just cut up a bunch of vegetables. I made some of that dip for them and they ate all their vegetables even before the main course came out, and they're like 2 and 4 years old. So they're really young. So that is a really great way. And you can do, for us that we want to eat lower carb, it's like raw cauliflower, raw broccoli, and celery is really good. It's low carb. Cucumbers are good. If you do eat cherry tomatoes, just a couple because they're quite high in sugar. I think you kind of know when you're, putting it in your mouth, you can kind of tell things that are starchy, kind of make you more full, or they're sweet. Really limit those tremendously. So you can have some veggies with dip. If you make your own meatballs, you can add your own spices to it, which are really tasty. Just be careful with boughten sausage because it usually will have some kind of filler in it. And yeah, that can trigger your symptoms. Just a little bit of sugar in bacon and ham and sausage or fillers can actually make your symptoms flare a little bit. That's what we see in our students before they start treating, for sure. So that just kind of gives you some ideas. I'm trying to think what else. Our family, we really like cod liver. Maybe you guys think that's gross, but tins of cod liver. You could do sardines, you could do oysters. All of those things are fine. Just make sure you don't eat a ton of meat at one sitting. 3 or 4 ounces is fine with each meal, but just don't eat like pounds and pounds of meat. I know that my son-in-law, he deep fried Brussels sprouts, and we had that with mayo. You can make the mayo into spicy mayo. You can make a creamy Caesar salad dressing, which is delicious. So there's lots. You can make a ranch dressing, or even the one I mentioned. So between all of that, that'll keep you really full, and you'll have something to drink before the meal. You can have something after the meal, and you're not going to feel sick. You're not going to have bloating, and you're not going to feel gassy, and you're not going to feel like the foggy head just taking over your whole brain. You'll be able to concentrate, focus, visit with people, and enjoy your time with them. So healthy fats and protein that has not been altered by humans unless you do it yourself. Like if it's ground pork or chicken or turkey or beef, any of those ground meats, if they're just plain ground meats, you can add whatever spices to it. And there's lots of recipes. Whenever I want to look for, try something different, I just go online and I just type in what type of a dish I want to make. And then I look for paleo or keto and look for a lot of good reviews. And then you'll find some that have, let's say, 300, 5 out of 5 or 4.9 reviews out of 5. And then you can just kind of look at the ingredients. You might have to make 1 or 2 little minor adjustments, but then at least you've got a really good recipe that will taste good and it will add some enjoyment, some change to your life. Okay, so when I'm invited to, let's say, places where there's going to be appies and drinks, I will eat before I go. If you eat before you go, you will feel satisfied and you won't be like, oh, I'm just starving to death. There's nothing I can eat here, but I'm just dying of starvation, so I'm just going to eat something. If you eat before you go, you will feel satisfied. Then if there's, let's say, a vegetable platter, you could just grab a few veggies. Don't do the dip. It'll have a ton of cheese in it usually. But just grab a few veggies and have your sparkling water or even a bottle of water and just walk around and visit with people. You'll be focused on catching up with people, building relationships, feeling a lot of joy, and you're not going to feel like you're deprived. And you can eat a really good meal at home before you go. Deviled eggs is another appy that's great. If I'm invited to eat at somebody's house, let's say there's a big dinner and I have to bring a dish, I will bring a dish that I can eat. I'm usually the veggie lady. Usually our family members ask me to bring a veggie platter or else a big salad, and they do like it. More and more people are eating that. So they too, especially as we're getting older, it's they don't like feeling terrible. So we talked about the herb teas. Some of them have really nice spices like cloves and cinnamon in them, and that would be fine. Sparkling water. Coconut fat bombs, I haven't made those yet, but you could do that. But there are lots of recipes that you can make that will taste really good, leave you satisfied, and you'll start 2026 feeling amazing. And then also daily tools to make the parasites more quiet. So deep breathing. So really controlling your cortisol levels. If you're dealing with stress, to kind of go, okay, I'm dealing with stress, I'm feeling stressful, I'm going to do some deep breathing, I'm going to focus on something else, prayer or meditation, get the cortisol down again, because that way you're not making the parasites active. We've seen before where let's say a student gets a surge of stress and their arm will go rigid or their leg will go rigid. We've seen that often. So the parasites really do respond to our stress hormones. And prayer and meditation are helpful. Going into nature, watching a funny movie, laughing, right, with people that you love, a warm bath. Also saunas, like especially make sure you don't have a lot of radiation in the sauna, that is pretty clean, but saunas can really help. There are so many different things that you can do that will, nature is another big one, and kids are a great one, and pacing yourself, just making sure you don't overdo it. Oh my gosh, I'm heading into the holidays and you have to, for me too, I have to really this is what I'd like to do, but I can't do it all. So this is what I'm going to do. That's what I have to do, is make a list of what I am going to do versus what Pam would normally do, just because it has been so busy, and we can still have the whole family over. We can still do all the things, but you have to find the shortcuts to pace yourself to protect your health. Setting healthy boundaries. Just saying, like, number one, letting people know what you can eat and what you can't. They love you. They want to make sure that you don't get sick. So just tell them, say, I can eat, meat that doesn't have, sugar or like gluten in it. I can have vegetables that, like just steamed, oven roasted vegetables, stir fried, just avoiding a few things like sugar and things like that. So if you let them know, and then you bring a dish along or two, it's fine. And they love you and they want to protect your health. And then just making sure, you tell everyone, okay, I'm going to hit the sack, right? Because I'm tired and I need to go to bed. So just set boundaries as far as, going to bed at a decent time. You can still get up the next morning and you'll feel better and you'll still enjoy all the visiting, but you just won't be as wasted. You don't want to be wasted, right, over the holiday. So when you have these calm rhythms, that really helps you to calm the parasites, making them less active. They produce less poisons, the inflammation goes down in your body, and you start to feel better. So if you work on making sure your bowels are moving every day over the holidays, making sure you're not sleep deprived, making sure your carbs are as low as possible, and doing a little bit of movement, whether it's just, stretching, walking around the table, kitchen table, or maybe you can go for a little walk outside, whatever you can do, all of those things are going to really help. And making sure you're getting enough sleep also, that you're not sleep deprived. If you do that, you are going to report back to me in January. You're going to go, that's the best Christmas I've had for years. Like, I cannot believe how much better I feel compared to how much worse I normally feel when I go through the holidays. All right, I'm going to see if there is any questions. I think I have to it's getting quite late here. I've been on for a while, but a couple of things I just wanted to mention too. So you may have to use something for bowel movements. I'm not going to go into specifics here because this is really for educational purposes, but you may need a supplement to help you to sleep. You may need a supplement to help you to have a bowel movement because you're dealing with parasites, and that'll get better as you treat. You may want to take a binder, which helps to absorb, so absorbing the toxins that the parasites produce. So things like chlorella can be really awesome. Most people tolerate it really well, but again, you have to, if you need support through all of this to make sure you're not hurting yourself, but chlorella is generally very safe, even for pregnant women. There's a small number of people that are sensitive to chlorella, but it's not the chlorella's fault. It's just due to the parasites we're dealing with. But taking a binder to absorb the toxins in our digestive tract, in our body, activated charcoal occasionally as needed, extra, or the chlorella is fine. Drinking enough water, resting. You can find too that ginger or peppermint tea can be awesome. And the diet is the big thing. Is the diet. Going low carb will completely change your life. All right, just seeing if there was anything else. And then with that, when you have that all in place and you've planned and you prepared and you can even have like smoked salmon is really lovely. Just make sure you read the package that there is no sugar added, because that can be added quite often too. So there are some really special foods you can have so that you can really enjoy yourself, and you can really start to not only avoid flares and worsening of symptoms, but you can actually start to feel a lot better. I just grabbed really quickly a couple of successes. We had our live Q&A call yesterday. One of our students who's just starting to treat, she shared that with just one parasite drug, her bladder feels normal again. What's interesting is this parasite drug treats flatworms, and the most common problem with bladder issues worldwide is called schistosomiasis, which is a blood fluke that gets into the bladder and probably into the kidneys too. But just with the one flatworm medication, she has normal functioning bladder again. Isn't that amazing? And some of us have been dealing with this for years. Another student just getting ready to treat, so doing the diet, supporting the body, and she's like maybe a week or two into the program. She said, my main symptoms of numbness in my fingers and leaky bladder, and also numbness, sorry, that's a duplication. So numbness and leaky bladder, constipation and fatigue, they have all improved a lot within my first week. That's what I'm talking about. So please take what I'm saying seriously. There is no drug, there is no MS drug that can give you decreased numbness, helping your bladder not to be leaky, and dealing with constipation and fatigue all in 1 week. There is no MS drug that does that. But diet can do that because you are making the parasites less active. The last one I just wanted to share with you is a couple, and they're going through the Live Disease-Free plan together. And she just said, I had a big win for my partner today. He's been passing ropeworms, and he has had bad eczema for 5 years. It suddenly has cleared up. So he's had, like, eczema can be, if it's bad, it can be really bad, itchy, burning, and it's gone. And he's had that for 5 years. And he is not done treating. He's just, I would say, in the early stages of treating. This is just 3 of the many successes that came in this week. Every week we have many successes from our students. So make sure that you look into this, watch my masterclass training, and really start to build the belief. It's common sense. When you see this, it's common sense. So watch my masterclass training, learn about the parasites, see all the successes, then also the steps we take to recover. And if you're at the place you're like, okay, I get it, this is the direction I need to go, then fill out the form. Then you will be able to book a time to chat with me to see if it's a good fit for you. And you can also watch the coach-a-thon before we meet. I just spoke with a lady just a couple of hours ago, and she is joining. So excited for her. So we have people joining every week. So make sure to just see if it's a good fit, fill out the form, and meet with me, and you can get started even before the holidays are finished or before they start, or you can get started before the new year so that you are going to have a very different year for 2026. You will have a year where you are taking back your health, taking back your life, doing things you haven't done for many, many years, some of you for decades. It breaks my heart. It's not fair. It's not right. But you are the only one who can change things. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go, and we will talk to you next week.